No, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I could have still back. Thought like getting it.
Back seat. Oh,
There we go. I don't remember real doing that. No. Yeah.
it's tired. It's tired. Get that. So Jesus, I told you that.
I don't know why. No, that's not right. Live on that. From. I don't
Are there any more? Are there any more people wanting to sign up to speak?
Please do.
We're getting about ready to start back up again. Is anybody left that wants to sign up to speak? Can I get your, can I get your attention real quick? Uh, The council pointed out to me that I made a mistake. Council pointed out to me that I made a mistake. We started the meeting over there, and I brought the sheet back over here. We'd already started the meeting. I can't take the last two public comments, which was going to be Ms. Michaela Wilson, Ms. Dickens, and I have one more. Mr. What's your name, sir?
You don't have to take the word.
So at this time, we're going to call the meeting out of recess back to order. Going to go to the invocation and the pledge. Aiden Brownlow here is a Eagle Scout, newest Eagle Scout in Hardeman County, and he's going to lead us. He's going to lead us in prayer and in the Pledge of Allegiance. He belongs to a council member here. They gave me a biography, but this is such a long meeting that we're just going to skip all that. He's a good kid, and that's what we're going to leave it at. So at this time, would you open us up with the prayer, sir?
God, please bless this council, this city. May their words be true and wise, their hearts follow their decisions. Just lead them to the right decisions to help God fulfill what done to the best it can be. God's word, take me.
Amen. Thank you, Aiden. Will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance now? Generally, we'd open up with mayor's comments, and I had a pretty big speech to say, but I'm just going to come up and say it as simple as we can. As a leader, I failed. As a council, we have failed. We can both work together on my end of the fence and your end of the fence better than what we've been doing. If I failed you, I apologize. We're going to go on from this. Let's make a team. We are a 6-string guitar. We're playing out of chords. We're playing out of tunes. Let's get together and play Sweet Home Quanah, Texas. At this time, we're going to go directly into public comments. First, rattle out of the box is Miss Becky Barker. Hey, can we do something with this? Is it working? I'm just not hearing.
Y'all come use this one on this side.
Okay.
That way y'all won't have to go to the second.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Pardon me. Why?
You have a 4-minute time limit? Becky,
Yes,
everybody has a 4-minute time limit?
yes.
Let me get this
Okay.
machinery started here.
Scott is on the phone.
Tell me when you're ready, ma'am.
Oh, sure. Okay,
At the 3-minute time mark, I'll just give you a wave. It means you got
Okay.
1 minute left.
okay.
Please start.
I'm Becky Barker. I'm here tonight to oppose the council's proposal to withdraw hotel occupancy tax funds from the Chamber of Commerce. The Texas State Tax Code is very specific as to how the tax revenue can be used. The most important factor to consider in the use of these funds states that every local hotel occupancy tax revenue expenditure must directly enhance and promote tourism in the convention and hotel industry. One of tonight's agenda items is to consider, approve, changing the name of the ballroom and defunding the Chamber of Commerce. For the council's information, a facility to be funded as a convention center must primarily be used to host conventions and meetings attended by tourists or individuals who spend the night in a hotel. In this context, it is further stipulated that 50% of the bookings are to host conventions or meetings that promote tourism, the hotel industry, which results in the booking of rooms. That simply means outside of local bookings. Simply naming a facility a convention center or visitor information center does not automatically qualify the facility as a convention center. I'm greatly offended by Councilmember Jackson's statement that the city cannot afford the ballroom.
Ms. Barker, we can't use names. I
Oh,
apologize.
I didn't know that.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
Right there on the sheet. We cannot. That's
Cannot use, sorry, I apologize. Thank you. Thank you, John Curtis. I'm, I'm offended that the city cannot afford the ballroom and the additional claim that hotel motel funds are not being spent the way they are supposed to be spent. Under the chamber's director's guidance, we have worked vigilantly to assure and checked that every expenditure we are making from those taxes are being used according to the state Texas tax code that addresses hotel occupancy tax. In addition, I also served as the director of 3RF when the foundation generously donated the foyer, ballroom, and tape building to the city in 2022. In addition, generous donations from Georgia Pacific of $200,000, the Masonic Lodge of $200,000 were made to fund renovations to the facility. HOT funds retained by the city of approximately $100,000 were also used at the direction of the sitting mayor at the time. There was also approximately $50,000 from an insurance claim due to the building collapse from a premature demolition
one.
am I done? Okay. Funds for, well, anyway, so that was also donated by the city of Quanah. Funds for the available project totaled approximately $550,000. Can the city provide an accounting of that money? Does the city maintain their HOT funds in a separate account? And what is the balance of that account? Does the city make the required annual report to the state? Per the city's 2024 budget, $60,000 is listed as HOT revenue. However, the budget shows no expenditures to either the chamber or the museum. Can you explain the $10,000 HOT use expense in the 2024 budget? And do you have a yearly budget for the operation and maintenance of the ballroom? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. I should have done this before we got started. It's my fault. And item number 2 on the sheet that's used to sign up specifically says any person who makes personal, impertinent, slanderous remarks or who becomes boisterous while addressing the council or attending council meetings shall be removed from the room. If so directed by the mayor or mayor pro tem, the mayor's, if the mayor is absent or at the request of the majority of the council. We didn't get there, but I just want to let everybody know that everybody's passionate tonight, and let's just keep the personal part out of it, please. At this time, we're going to go to Miss Marcy Reeves.
All right, I'm Marcy Reeves. Most of you know me. 27 years had an insurance agency here. While I did that, I was a strong member of the Chamber of Commerce, worked on the board. I was president of the Chamber of Commerce. I owe a lot to the Chamber of Commerce. It was in the Chamber of Commerce where I met my husband, who also became president of the Chamber. So that being said, I'm not sure I need to go over everything that the Chamber does. I think you all know what they do. But do you know how much work goes into it? I don't know how many of you know how much work goes into what the chamber does. As a chamber board member, I've picked up trash. I've got a list, but if you think those Christmas lights just appear out there every year, somebody has to check every stinking bulb on there to make sure they're good. Somebody has to put the sign up down on Main Street, 287, when we're trying to get people downtown. Somebody has to fold all those pamphlets or those brochures that we send out to all the vendors for the Fall Fest. Who do you think does that? It's the chamber board and it's volunteers. And it's the chamber director who manages all that. She's the one that makes all the phone calls and gets all the things going. If you think for 1 second that you can do without the Chamber of Commerce board and the director, you know what I want to say. All right. So I don't see and I haven't read the city's plan for who they think is going to do all these things. The chamber's not going to be able to function at its current capacity without the hotel motel funds. What is the city's plan for this money? What do they want to do with it? It's there for tourism. It's there so we can find people to put in our hotels and motels and eat at our local restaurants and shop in our local stores. It's not to build streets and water. I wish it was. I'd be the first one up here if it was, but it's not. That's not what we can do. I guess the biggest event that we all have is Fall Fest, and we all know what Fall Fest is. But have you thought about how many organizations, I'm not talking about the city or the chamber, how many organizations are affected by Fall Fest? Every church in town has a booth. Boy Scouts, 4-H, FFA. Last year, the senior class made enough money to help them pay for prom. I don't know what they're thinking, because that cannot happen without this.
1 minute.
All right, so, all right, I have 1 minute left. And I thought long and hard about what I wanted to say, and I wanted to use a bunch of cuss words. And my husband told me that wasn't a good idea. So I'm not going to. So I'm going to give scripture instead, and you may not like the scripture I'm going to give. I'm sorry ahead of time, but it's here. Exodus 20. This is the 10 commandments. The 10th commandment is, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods. If you don't know what covet means, it means you want something that belongs to somebody else. The 8th commandment is, thou shalt not steal. If you don't know what steal means, it means the act or offense of taking another person's property without permission or legal right. Now, I know that for a fact because I was on the chamber 25, 30 years ago. They had that fund then. For 30 years, they've done a terrific job, and I just don't think that...
Time's up, ma'am.
Okay, all right. You got my message.
Next is Mr. John Wiseman, and so that we can speed things up, Mr. Reynolds, I'll bring the mic to you. I'll bring it to you. You won't have to get in line. I'll bring it to you when it's your turn. Mr. Wiseman, I'll give you a 1 at the 1 minute mark. That way I don't interrupt you.
All right. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is John Wiseman, long time off and on resident of Quanah. And I'm not sure what I can say that these ladies haven't already said, except for I spent 2 different Christmases going through those light bulbs out there, restringing. It takes a lot of work. I spent a good 6 hours a day, 5 days a week for 2-3 weeks. And then we turned around and we took and set it all up. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. The chamber does so much for our community. I'm a big proponent of it takes a village to raise children, and the Chamber of Commerce is a vital tool for our children. It does so much. The pretty lights, the Fall Fest, everything you see coming around town, it probably goes through the chamber. As far as the ballroom goes, I don't know what the intent is. I don't see what y'all can do with this place that you couldn't, that they can't do better. And I'm upset. It's a big blow. I loved working with the chamber when I was in high school for NHS. All the NHS kids would get together and go out there and do whatever needed to be done. I'd like to see that happen again now that I've got kids in NHS, but that's their thing to lead. And I won't take up the full 4 minutes here so we can go along. I will end with saying I believe, as many others in this room believe, it is a mistake to defund the chamber and redistribute that to the Three Rivers. So I yield my time.
Thank you, sir.
I was raised up in Shannon. I started my career at U.S. government. The war was over for you. No. Well, I can't give you the attention. Office, mower. One year was one very responsible for the thing. The government paid him another one. In other words, mohair was cheap, so the government had to raise up the price. When I moved to Quanah, this was a leading wheat and cotton country. Well, when I moved here, my office was right there by the red light, where there used to be a red light, and I moved it out there on Highway 287, and it's called the Farm Service Agency now. It's had a lot of names. I tell you, it was called Agricultural Adjustment Administration. It was called Agricultural Stabilization Conservation Service. And I tell you, one time, for one day, it was called Agricultural Stabilization Service. And if you see the initials, they're ASS. Government didn't want that, so we added a C into it. Okay. When I moved here in '72, this whole street was full of people. And I guarantee you, we had good restaurants. And now then, this house I bought in 1973 was built in 1919. It needed a little bit of work. It had pink siding on it, and I didn't like pink siding, so I threw it off. And then, well, I'm gonna run out of my 4 minutes. I do have a speech, and I'll give it to anybody who wants one.
You got 1 minute and 20 seconds left, sir.
Okay. Well, okay, I'll tell you a little bit about my kids. I got 3 kids, and I got 5 grandkids. My grandkid that lives in Childress, she has a part-time bakery. She come over here and showed that in this bakery. My other granddaughter, she lives in Amarillo. Her husband and her both work for that big nuclear outfit, and Pantex, I think they call it. And he has one of them fancy cars, a car, and he come up here a couple of years ago and showed that car. Well, my wife has a brother-in-law that lived in Frisco, Texas. He made turquoise jewelry. He come up here and had that. And then I guarantee you, we need a Chamber of Commerce here. They're the one that found me that 1919 house.
Time. Next up is Miss Anita Sturmer, and behind her is Miss Phyllis Matthew.
Anita Sturmer. The first thing that I'm going to do is remind you guys that somebody has to go to the grant training, and it's next week. It's December the 17th, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's on the computer. It's Eastern Standard Time, but you got to register first, and you've got to do the second sign up, and somebody's got to do it, because nobody's going to get any money until somebody attends these things. Okay, I'm only going to say one sentence. I think the chamber works extremely hard. They've done a ton of stuff that I have seen, and we love you so much. That's all.
Next up is Miss Phyllis Matthews.
Well, after the other comments, I think mine is kind of mediocre because I'm not talking about the chamber. I'm talking about my neighborhood and specifically the property at 1007 West Fifth Street. Across the street from where I live, it's a junkyard. The owners, not the owners, but the people that lived there before made it into a junkyard, and it's an eyesore. I had talked to the former city, anyway, Paula Wilson at one time, and she told me that the taxes, if the taxes were not paid within 5 years, then Quanah could contact someone in Lubbock and the city could take it over and clean it up. She had promised, this was last year, that it was going to be promised to be cleaned up. Nothing's happened yet. So if you guys can look into it, I would really appreciate it because I'm tired of looking at it. 1007 West Fifth Street.
I'm gonna hand you a sheet when you're done. I'm gonna hand it to Mr. Wilson, and he'll have all that on that sheet right there.
Okay, okay. Then one other thing I wanted to ask about the stop signs. Can we get the stop signs red and white again? I mean, a lot of the stop signs in the city are white, totally white. They're faded. So, it does. It just makes one a little bit pretty. Come, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna need a point of order from the council on this. I don't know the rule. I know what the rule says, that one person cannot share their time with the other person. But Mrs. Kreider I'll let her explain it. Ms. Kreider, where you at?
Okay.
Would
so
you just
I-
give a brief synopsis of what the question was?
Okay, so I prepared a document of speech. I went from a 7 page to like 1.5, and I've timed myself, and I cannot get through it without sounding like the biggest jabber box on earth. Heather also helped me in preparing of the speech, so technically it's her speech as well. So could she be able to carry on the last end of the speech as her speech?
Is the council unanimous that we can do that?
We can't do it, or we can?
Can, with an N, not a T. Can, correct? Correct?
It needs to be unanimous.
I think we got it all the way across. Okay, at this time, I'm gonna start.
Okay. All right, everybody knows me. If you don't, I'm shocked. All right, there are a lot of questions that need to be addressed before the Chamber of Commerce has the hotel motel tax removed from their many list of agendas they were responsible for keeping up with. As it states in the tax code, a municipality may include, that does not mean that the chamber can do it by themselves. It doesn't mean that the city can do it by itself. It says may include by contract another governmental entity or organization that the management or supervision of programs and activities funded with the revenue from the tax authorized by this chapter. They can't work one. One can't have it all, and the other one can't have it all. It's ultimately the city's responsibility to hold this together. Okay. If they invite the chamber in, then that's how we're going to do it. Okay. That's how the tax code states it. And I hope you all. This does not mean the funds are to be managed solely by the Chamber of Commerce. This does not mean that the chamber can delegate what the funds are used for as they wish. To me, this simply states that the governmental entity and organization that is included in the management or supervision of programs have to correlate together. So with that being said, the chamber having possession and complete control of the money isn't even legal. If it's not legal, we're going to lose it. And we'll lose it for 10 years. The governing body, meaning the city, and if chamber is included in writing, shall approve in advance the annual budget of the person to which it delegates those functions. So that's saying that the chamber delegates somebody to run these monies, okay? It has to be approved, and it has to be in a contract, and the city has to approve it.
It was approved years ago.
Right. It has to be done annually. At least quarterly. Okay, then the person that is giving the reports to the city, they have to address the governing body at least quarterly, listing the expenditures made by the person with revenue from the tax authorized in this chapter, and that is stated in the tax code. There has not been a quarterly update done on an agenda for the city council to look at. Why can't Chamber do the ballroom? The ballroom, by just the name, is not a visitor center or convention center, so it can't be done. By the ballroom name alone, it is not allowed to be funded. Hence the changing of the name period. If they want to do it together, they can do it together, as long as it's on a contract. And then it states a municipality may not delegate to any person the management or supervision of its convention and visitors programs and activities funded with the revenue from the tax authorized other than by a contract. So a new contract must be made to include the ballroom and changing of the ballroom name and to delegate who's going to watch the monies over it. A person with whom is contracted shall maintain complete and accurate financial records of each expenditure of hotel occupancy tax revenue, including the Airbnbs made by the person, and on request shall make available for inspection and review to the governing body or other person if they have not been presented. A person with whom is contracted shall maintain complete, Now, the events that put heads in beds is not a Christmas bazaar. It's not a Christmas parade. It may be the Falls Fest. People do not come and spend the night for the Falls Fest, okay? They spend the night for a football game, and what follows the next day is the Fall Fest and the all-class reunion. So I encourage to be able to claim those heads in beds funds. You need to include the football game, which is a sporting event and can be done, and the all-class reunion. What could be done with the money? Well, we have a state park. We had play days a long time ago. I checked it, and that is something we can do, but it has to require spending the night. So in those details, it must be a 2-day event to ensure funding. A sports arena, like the rodeo arena, coming back into use, has to be functional a year prior to using those funds. That's where I normally run out of time. Okay, I'm going to stop.
Ma'am, you ready to go?
Okay,
Calm down.
I'm Heather Berry, and I'm just going to finish this. Now, this is just, we don't know for sure that this is the facts. This is just what we've heard, and we're asking. So, now from what I've gathered, there has been no quarterly reports to the Quanah City Council members, and there hasn't been one in 2025. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but hold on. But just along with the EDC quarterly reports are done in the chambers on the agenda. So should the chambers of commerce chambers of commerce using the money that is delegated by the council? Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm just going to start over, okay? Now, from what I've gathered, there has been no quarterly reports to the Quanah City Council member, and there hasn't been one in 2025. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but just along with the EDC quarterly reports are done in the chambers on the agenda. So should the chambers of commerce use the money that is delegated by the council? If the city is not receiving these reports, the city can be held liable for not ensuring their usage is being documented, distributed, and used as they should be used, as stated in the tax code and authorized by the fiscal year budget presented and taken action on by the city council. If you have concern about defunding the chamber, ask them to provide a financial statement of all their financials, including those that are to be kept separate from the hot tax. From what I have learned, there are some of the chamber's boards that say there is over 70K in money, and there are some that say there is not much. Someone needs to produce a financial statement made by the bank, not just hearsay, but to be heard to produce sorry. Someone needs to produce a financial statement made by the bank, not just hearsay, but to be heard. Hold on. No. Oh, sorry, I've just lost it. Someone needs to produce a financial statement made by the bank, not just hearsay, but to be hard documents. Now, the chambers receives its money from documentations made from donations. Hold on, I have got to calm down. Okay, Amber, just let me say it, okay? Just give me a sec. Chambers dues are also collected, which I've heard that some are not collected due to the good old boy system. Remember, this is all hearsay due to the lack of documentations presented by quarterly reports. They also receive money from the events that they put on. 2025, there was over 115 booths that were documented by the chambers that should have been documented by the chambers that should have paid booth rent. I'm not sure if they are all donation booths, but I believe we need to have an accurate account of all that paid for the booth rents. Then you have the sponsors of the Fall Fest. I'm sure they contribute to the awards, trophies, and other things. The Christmas Bazaar also requires booth rent. The Christmas Parade is voluntarily provided by the flyers. Okay.
You have 30 seconds, ma'am.
Where is this money going from the HUD? This is the question that certainly needs to be addressed and documented. I do understand there are flyers made from tourism. Is that all the HUD is going for? The big concern is a check and balance system, and without that, Quanah may not have any HUD to use. And if it's the city's responsibility to ensure that those funds continue to be distributed for use and promote the growth of our city.
Time, ma'am. I apologize. Can you respond? It's on the agenda item, but we're going to get there. Okay, at this time, I don't have any more comments. Did I miss anybody? I'll dig through the pile up here if I did. Ms. Tabor, I did have you, but do you want to speak or not? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Brenda Tabor. Most of you know me, and I'm certainly not perfect. The Chamber of Commerce is near and dear to my heart. I'm not going to read a bunch of stuff from a piece of paper, but what I know and what I'm going to ask y'all, the Chamber of Commerce does all the work about Fall Festival with our all-school reunion. Are y'all going to do that? Who's going to do that? Who's going to do egg hunts? Who's going to do the Christmas parade? Who is going to do the stuff that brings business into our town? Is the city willing to take on that responsibility? I know y'all aren't going to answer. And the other thing is, I'm a little concerned about the open meeting concept. And when we have a council member who is speaking to press and saying what he's going to do and what he's not going to do, and that's against the law. That is against the law. Thank you.
At this time, we're going to move forward. Since we have a third-party guest that we're going to have to bump up, is there any problem with moving down and we'll come back up to approving? Y'all have a problem with that? Okay, at this time, we're going to go to old business and consider and approve changing the name of the ballroom while defunding the Chamber of Commerce. Now, it's set up to have a representative from the State Hotel Motel guy to answer any questions. The chamber is going to speak. They're here to answer any questions that we have for them. They can probably answer the money portion tonight, whatever it is that the council has to offer. So at this time, I would ask for the chamber representative that's going to speak to come to.
That was put on the changing of the ballroom name was put on the table last time. You have to have a motion to bring that off of the table first.
Okay.
That was put on the table at our last meeting. You have got to have a motion on the floor to bring that from the table.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
That whole group of defunding the Chamber of Commerce was not in that. It was only the ballroom. So it needs to be two separate items.
Okay. So can I get a motion to bring it back to the table?
I move to bring from the table the motion to change the name of the ballroom to Quanah Ballroom Convention Center.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second was made. Ms. Brownlow? At this time, we'll call for any discussion. All in favor of changing the name?
Bring it from the table. You're
Wait a minute.
bringing it back off the table. That's all you're doing. You're bringing it back to the floor.
Okay, it's back on the floor. Any discussion?
You didn't take a vote. You need a vote to bring it back. Sorry. Got to do it correctly.
I thought that's what we were calling for. What did I call for? I apologize. I asked for any discussion, and there was no discussion, so I was going to take the vote. Is there any? Yes, but the question is, was there any discussion before we voted to bring it back on the table? That was the question. Okay, at this time, we're going to take a vote to bring it back onto the table. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carried it. So at this time, it is on the table. We will open that up for discussion. Who wants to lead off with the discussion?
So who placed the audit originally on last month's agenda?
I did.
And who else would it take to?
Don't take two things back table after. Which table you go?
The rules are that's two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Jones, they're asking if you were the one that were the second signature to put that on the item. It was Mr. Jones and Mr. Jackson.
So I would also like to know what other council members knew what was going on before that meeting? Because I did not know about it, and Glenn didn't know about it, and it was very evident that others knew about it. Like there was discussions happening. Did anybody else know?
About the meeting?
About the motion? About the agenda?
About why it was on the agenda to change the name?
You're wrong. The mayor did know. Because the mayor and I talked about it.
About what?
About changing the name of the ball.
No, about why? Because you said in the meeting it was so we could defund the chamber.
No, sir, I did not. No, sir, I did not say one thing about the.
Hold on just a minute. Hold on. I'm not interrupting you. We can't have any talking from the public. This is a council meeting. It is open for discussion amongst the council. I would ask that the public please remain quiet and not interrupt. Councilman Barnett?
He is correct. There's actually a penalty deal. Disrupting pleasant meeting. Keep your comments to yourself. City council has to conduct their business, okay? Same thing on the city council, with the toast y'all too. You got the floor, you can talk. If you start jumping all over everything, then that's disrupting the meeting as well. If you have the floor, you have the floor. If you don't, you don't, okay? We don't want any problems. We don't want any to do that. Everybody get along and just keep our comments to ourselves out the gallery and let these people conduct their business.
Ms. Barnett, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I think that there is some confusion here because this word defunding, the city does not fund the Chamber of Commerce. We cannot legally fund the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce is funded by its members and by things it does, and they do great things. I serve on that board. I know they do great things. I know how much work it takes. I know that. I understand that. I think this whole word defunding has been stretched beyond belief and has caused a lot of misunderstanding. It's not defunding. It's just that we need to do this correctly and by legal terms with the state. Nobody is saying you can't have the money. You can still request funds. You can still report funds. It's not defunding the chamber. I want everyone to know that.
I put that word in there because that was the word that was used. It's on video. But if I misworded the motion or misworded anything that was in there, I'll take full responsibility for that.
No, I don't think I think it's just a whole collective black cloud
Well,
that's hanging over.
I've had several questions asked about that word, and nobody but me put that on there, and that was the way I understood it. If it was a mistake, Councilman Jackson, go ahead.
I'd like to know who said anything about defunding the Chamber of Commerce. I never said a word about defunding the Chamber of Commerce. I never heard about defunding the Chamber of Commerce until Councilman Lance had it on with the news.
You said when I asked you how much you wanted to take from.
That's by far from defunding. That's a word that you came up with, Mr. Lance.
I may have misheard it, or I may have been the one to use it. I don't know where that word came from. I did see it in the paper. If I put it on the agenda because I thought that's what was said in the video. So I want to give you every opportunity to say what I misquoted. So please. Go ahead, Mr. Jackson. I was speaking with you.
I specifically remember exactly what was said at the last council meeting, and you wanted to know why that the money needed to be taken away from the Chamber of Commerce. And I said that we're not taking any money away from anybody, that it's not being distributed the way it should be, and the rules are not being followed. And you're the one that came up with the defunding when you put it in the newspaper and you put it on the TV.
You said you wanted to take all of it.
Hold on. You don't have the floor. I do apologize. Mr. Jones, you were next. You raised your hand.
Well, I would just say this, it changing the name from the ballroom convention center. I had no idea that the chamber was claiming that.
Ms. Brownlow.
So I'm probably going to stumble through this a little bit. Y'all be patient. So I think what we have here is a massive miscommunication. Different people heard different things. The original conversation did not have anything to do with defunding the Chamber of Commerce. What was discussed during the meeting was changing the name of the ballroom to a convention center. That in itself is going to create some interesting conundrums that we're going to have to muddle through if we do that. At the end of the day, what we have to do is make sure, and if you go to the TML website, you will see there is a 37-page PowerPoint there that will explain exactly what the hot funds can be used for. If you are using hot funds, it has to result in an event that brings in an overnight stay. Something that is a one-day event that people come in and leave does not qualify for hot funds. There are statutory categories, and if you want me to, I'll be more than happy to let you know what they are. Convention and visitor centers, convention registration, advertising the city, promotion of the arts, historical restoration and preservation, sporting events in a city located in a county under 1 million in population, enhancing or upgrading existing sports facilities or sports fields in certain cities. That is wholly dependent on population, which I will tell you Quanah doesn't qualify for. Tourism, transportation systems, signage directing the public to sites and attractions that are visited by hotel guests in the city. Those are the 9 categories that the hot tax utilization has to fall under. What we are facing now is we're going to have to work on we need to review the contract that the city has with the Chamber of Commerce to see what's in it, because I can promise you, nobody on this council has seen it. That is something from the previous council. It's a mess. Then we're going to have to work on the proper paperwork, because per TML, if I'm reading the website right, Chamber of Commerce has to submit a proposal for events prior to that event taking place. They have to budget it. After the event takes place, they have to report back to the city what was the revenue from that event, how many people actually came and stayed in the hotels. That's another issue because when I talk to the registration personnel at our local hotels, they don't necessarily track that accurately. So it's a miscommunication at best. It is a problem. It's an issue. We are going to have to work together with the chamber to solve it. But we're not defunding the chamber. What we're looking to do is to ensure that all of those hot monies that come in, that they are being spent and utilized appropriately so that we stay within state guidelines and tax codes.
Is there any more discussion? Mr. Lance?
It was stated that we can't afford the ballroom and they could bankrupt us. I haven't seen any documentation on expenditures or expenses or anything on the cost of the ballroom.
Mr. Jackson?
Before the last city secretary left her position, she had a paper and she showed me, and the ballroom was $19,000 over budget at that point.
But was this including the grant funding we use for the windows or the brand new air conditioners? I mean, that may be grant funding you were looking at. We don't even, we might have a full year, we can go back now with the new windows, with the new AC, with the new heater, where we can even see what it costs to run the ballroom with electricity.
Mr. Jackson?
She had the paper that showed that this ballroom was $19,000 over budget out of the city's finances.
Okay. I'm kind of at a loss right now. I don't know, as a point of order, where we're at. I mean, are we still discussing to change the name of the ballroom? Because I think we're kind of losing, okay.
So
Hold on, Miss.
The point I made, that this was all grouped into there with this, once again, defunding of the Chamber of Commerce and the ballroom. That was not what the original motion was. The original motion was to change the name of the ballroom. In the discussion, whatever was said was about the Chamber of Commerce or not about the Chamber of Commerce should have never been put on here and grouped into here. Now we've got all of this together that's muddling it.
I was under the impression it was to defund the Chamber of Commerce to pay for the ballroom. Am I the only one that understood that? Hold on. I just want to make sure, are me and Mr. Lance the only ones that understood, that thought we understood that we would be defunding, I'm sorry, not defunding, we would be changing the name of the ballroom to take the money from the chamber to pay for the ballroom? Did I misquote? Yes, sir.
That is not correct.
That was not the.
Because the city has 42% of that money already, and that the city has that we can use toward the ballroom. And if we don't change the name of it to Convention Center, we can't use that money. And Mr. Lance brought up the fact at the point whether we were going to take the money from the Chamber of Commerce, and I said all of it.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Barnett.
Item number 12 in your minutes, consider and approve changing the name of Three Rivers Ballroom to Quanah Ballroom Convention Center. A motion was made by John Jackson to move this item to the December meeting so that legal counsel can be obtained regarding and renaming the funding issues can be clarified. That is all it says.
And during that discussion was when it was brought. I understand what you're saying, but not everything made it in the minutes, what was said.
But you cannot add that in there into a motion. The motion wasn't made like that. Legally, this is the motion we should be discussing right now, and then discuss hot funds.
I believe the motion on the table right now is to change the ballroom, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Two separate motions. One was brought off the table, change the name of the ballroom. Then.
Ms. Jackson, or Ms. Barnett, you can't be speaking while other people are speaking. I'm trying to hear everything as well. Now, you said two motions. We're on the first. The first was to bring it on.
Put on to this week's, agenda. It should have been put on there as two separate motions. One of them would be the changing of the name of the ballroom, which was brought off the table from the last minute. A different motion should, or a different item should be put on there as to what to do with the funds for the chamber.
Okay, so we're currently on the motion of changing the name of the ballroom. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to put it out there. We are talking about changing the name of the ballroom to a convention center. That's going to entail that we have organizations and entities that are interested in renting or using this building to have conventions, which we have.
Okay, so at this time, we're still on changing the name of the ballroom. So are we going to call for a vote to change the name? Can I get a motion to change the name of the ballroom?
I move and change the name of the ballroom to Quanah.
Wait a minute, she's objecting. What's going on?
That motion on the floor.
Yeah, deal with that motion.
Well, they just-
Deal with the motion you have on there, which is to change it. You don't need to make the motion again. It's our name on the floor.
Okay, I'm getting advice from both ends of the table down here. So the motion on the table is to change the name of the ballroom. We had a, can I get I'm sorry. Can I get a second to approve changing the name of the ballroom? It was seconded by we didn't get, what do I need to do? So we have a second. All in favor of changing the name of the ballroom, say aye. Hold on.
I thought I heard something about getting an attorney.
What the motion said.
Motion doesn't, on the previous one, it was discussed, it was not brought in, we get a motion, state, because it's not something that an attorney would, it's not his call, it's whether you don't want to do it or not. We have checked with people that have donated money to the change, or to the ballroom, the lodge hall, for one. Were there any stipulations when they put their money into it? Were there any stipulations to change the name in any? The one that we've discussed with said there was not.
So at this point, it is obvious that I made a complete disaster out of this entire ordeal. I do not know how to fix it at this time. I'm going to call for a point of order so that we're all on the same page. Ms. Barnett is the most up to date with the proper way to do it. So please tell me what,
Question on the motion that's brought back from the table on the floor, that is to change the name of the ballroom. And that is the only motion that we should be dealing with at this time.
okay, are you calling for that motion?
I'm calling for the question, and you're going to take a vote right now.
Okay,
Ask for ayes or nays. So who motioned the first motion? Who seconded?
do I have a second on that? Okay. All in favor of changing the name of the ballroom, with a show of hands, please say aye.
Aye.
I count three, is that correct? 3 opposed? So we have 3, 4, and 3 against. At this time, I'm the tiebreaker. At this time, I'm going to say no until we have more information, bring it back in front of the council. Once again, it's humiliating for me to stand up here and have made such a muddle out of this. I apologize to the public. So. I guess the second half of that's going to be dead. We'll just leave it.
Half of it be whether or do with funds for the.
Since that's under old business, mine, I done that wrong. Point of order would be, how would we,
Point of order would be that this was not part of the original motion that was put on the table. It should not be considered now because it's not on tonight's agenda.
okay.
Now, we can do all this same thing all over again, and that's what we need to do. But it's not part of the motion that was brought off the table, so it's not in this as a motion.
Is the council all in agreement?
It was put on the next one.
Your tape's on another deal, so.
Put on the agenda as part of the motion that was stated last time. It's not part of that motion. So technically, it's not on this agenda either, because it's not an agenda item. It's not there, basically.
So at this time, I guess the question that I need to ask is, do we need to speak with the hotel motel, the state hotel motel guy tonight? Do we need to tell him we'll have to reschedule? Do y'all want to speak with him tonight? Okay, so at this time, I apologize that we wasted his time. It was me. Okay, we can set that up at a later time. We'll have a workshop with the hotel motel guy seminar. Okay, thank you.
The reason the questions, some of the questions have arisen over the funding for the Chamber of Commerce is because we, as the staff, cannot find a copy of the contract that was made to set these percentages. If they're there, we've not been able to find them yet. We don't know when that percentage was brought up, how it was brought up, who brought it up, where the 43% came from. And as this said, we can contract with them, but we don't have a copy of the contract. All we're trying to do is find out if this contract exists now, when it was made, what percentage was agreed upon in this contract. And also, since I've been there, we've not found any reports, these quarterly reports that the chamber is required by law to give to the city accounting for the funds that were allocated to them.
Okay, so at this time, we're going to scratch that portion, the second portion. It was entered in error, and unfortunately, the buck stops here. It was a misunderstanding. And I'm sure y'all gonna learn from that misunderstanding and try to do a little bit better job on my end here. So at this time, we're gonna go back to item number 3. Go ahead. Yes.
At this point, as a councilman and concerned citizen of the city of Quanah, Texas, I'd like to make a formal request for a forensic audit of the books of the city of Quanah, including the hotel occupancy tax.
We can't be clapping out and still. I apologize. Would you repeat that?
As councilman and concerned citizen of the city of Quanah, Texas, I'd like to make a formal request for a forensic audit of the books of the city of Quanah, including the hotel motel tax.
Point of order, just a question. A point of order. It's not on the agenda.
I'm just making a request.
We'll take it.
Okay. So at this time, we're gonna go to item number 3. There's no more questions. Go to item number 3, consider and approve the minutes of the regular meeting of November 11th, 2025.
Make the motion to approve.
I got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? At this time, I'm gonna call for a vote if there's no discussion. All in favor of it? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. We'll go to item number 4. Consider approve the payment of bills received from November 11th, 2025 through December 9th, 2025. Can I get a motion? Motion was made. Can I get a second? It was seconded. Floor is open for discussion.
Second motion.
Ms. Brownlow.
Shane.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes, carry it. At this time, we're going to go to council department report. Ms. O'Neill, we'll start with you and work our way back here.
Okay, at the cemetery, everything's good. I know Darren, I talked to him. He is working on fixing some of the headstones out there. He's taking the time to go back and try to straighten them and also try to get them where they're chipping and stuff. I guess he's epoxy in it or something. But he's working on all that. Everything's good at the cemetery, both parts.
Mr. Jackson?
We've had a few water leaks. Brian's taken care of them, done a good job. Mr. Wilson, you helped on it. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but some of the street lights have been replaced. Not all of them, but a majority of them have.
We
On
sent,
287 and Main.
Yes.
we sent the information to AEP and it was like 37 or 38 to be sent in. And that's.
Ms. Barnett?
Ballroom is quite the topic of interest, but it's, we're still needing somebody to clean and do that. Trying to keep it up here and there. Margie is kind of sort of letting me know when things are going, so we kind of have communication like that. As far as sewer is concerned, I'm going to ask Mr. Wilson, what are we doing about equipment for him out there?
We have double checked and we feel assured that we can use part of the COVID money that was left over to purchase a machine to continue. When everybody knows we had a skid steer stolen at the sewer plant. And our insurance only paid a portion of that amount that the skid steer would cost us. We're going to get quotes or have some quotes now on a tractor with a front end loader to use at the sewer plant to clean the drying beds, which is what the skid steer was used for. But this smaller tractor will be able to be used to mow lots or city right of ways and things like that, because we can put the shredder that we have. We had an old tractor that has a transmission went out of it. It's several years old. We got a quote on repairing it and it was going to cost $8,400 to get it fixed. And with it being fixed, it's a $4,000 tractor. So we're not going to fix it. We're going to salvage it out as it's salvaged. The sewer plant has had somewhere in town, some of our outside septic tank dealers that pump their septic tanks have somewhere in town, and we've not been able to locate where or find out who it is, has put some sort of liquid from their tanks into our sewer plant that has done what sewer plants do when you get dumped on, basically what it amounts to. So the sludge that we carry, if we have to take any sludge now, has to go to Fort Worth to specific dumping site in Fort Worth rather than take it where we normally do. Trying to locate where this is and who's doing it. And so far, we have not been able to. But if any contractor that hauls waste from septic tanks comes to the city, we are not allowing any dumping at all into the manholes or the sewer because of this problem. We've had it once before. They got stopped, it cleared up for, as I'm being told, a couple of years and didn't have any, but we're beginning to have the same issue again. So that's what we're doing with it now. There's no one else is going to be able to dump into our septic tanks, to our manholes or the sewer plant. Until we get this problem solved and the plant runs its cycle and cleans itself up, which it will do, we will have to take our sludge to the city of Fort Worth rather than what we normally do, like I said. But the plant is running good. It won't take that long. We don't make that much sludge.
Okay.
We have that much industry and things that produce sludge like your household.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Jones?
The airport, find my notes here. The airport generated $1,909 worth of revenue. Status of our fuel storage is that we've used half of our fuel in 45 days that we bought. And so adding 45 more days to that says that we'll, about the middle of January, we'll need to make another purchase. So on the trash side, I found out that from the original contract, which I've not seen yet, but our contract with Trash Guys Western is at the renewal of the contract, which the contract year, which is October 1st. At that time, we are given 24 free roll-offs. And that's going to last us about 3 months. So we're not going to have any bills. So we got one bill for October for $100, which is they fixed a car tire rim, and that's why we got a bill. We haven't got a bill in November because we don't owe anything. So we'll still have some left over next month that will be free.
Okay. Ms. Brown? Did you want to update on how you and Councilman Lance were going to start the process to get the grant writing that we approved and try to start that program up?
So we are going to start a grant writing committee. Shane and I are going to be heading that up. We'll be going to workshops and we will be looking for, my thought is an English major or somebody in, a senior level student that can follow instructions and that would be interested in getting into that. It's actually a pretty good career opportunity for somebody if they wanted to follow it. Chat GPT, awesome. We're going to use that too.
Okay, Mr. Lance?
Fire department, we'll talk about all that, in
10-4. Okay, at this time, we're going to move into old business. And item A under 6 is consider approve the Centrio contract. Can I get a motion to bring this back to the table? Motion is made by Mr. Lance, seconded by Mrs. Barnett. All in favor to bring it back to the table, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carried it. So at this time, we'll call for a vote and then, we're going to call for discussion and then call for a vote. First discussion up on the deck will be Ms. Barnett.
I spoke with legal counsel about this contract. And I was advised in no way should the city sign this contract. Number one, it's a 5-year contract. And we're spinning our wheels as it is with Centrio. We do have some things we can do. We can do a public information request for towns around us that we can ask for what they're paying for a contract like that. As far as them having the towers, the antennas on the tower, we may not be able to charge them, but that is our property and they are trespassing. For every one that they do not have permission to have up there, which is 12 now, they are trespassing.
Any more discussion, Mr. Jones?
Secondly, I don't think.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? Mr. Leck?
Nobody, you saying they didn't hear me?
I don't think they did hear you very bad.
Okay.
Speaking so softly.
My point is, I have 2 points. Is number one is I talked to my personal attorney, and they said that contract, the original contract is valid. When we were in a meeting with the guy from Centrio the other time, he's much said that it was valid too. There was no problem with that contract. So I think that they do owe us for 12 more, $500 a month things, and we need to find out. So as Lisa says, we need to find out through how many months, when do they start adding the second, the third, the fourth, and fifth? So we know how much they owe us based on that. And the second thing is if we sign this contract, my attorney says that then we have no claim, we have no right to claim. We go back in that original contract, because this contract supersedes that contract.
Any more discussion?
So I will kind of rehash the history of this because I was a council member that was there when this happened. The one on that contract, as I stated before, was a typo. It had gone through our city attorney at the time, and it was gone through the city attorney and the city manager, brought to the council, and we approved it. We all missed the one on it. It was approved for multiple incidents with the approved. It would be very easy because we store all the audio as required by law of the meetings. To go back, find what date we held that meeting on, pull up the audio, and listen to the audio on what we did, and what we approved, and what we discussed. That's very simple. The one thing that concerns me, for one, I wouldn't want a city attorney that council hires to agree to the contract and tell us it's good. We can't have an attorney here, and many attorneys looking at it. We need to have an official city of Quanah attorney look at it. Well, number one, we'll be getting $6,000 per year for something that's not costing the city of Quanah any money. It's been a free $6,000 that's much needed for the city. When we originally did this, Paula called around to all the cities around, and the $500 per month that was offered to us was the going rate. And it was more than many other cities were getting. So we were right there. Like no city was getting $500 per antenna and getting $10,000 a month. That doesn't exist. Then when the gentleman came, the first gentleman, I forget his name, he spoke. He was very open and honest with us and told us the highest he's paying, I forget what town it was, but it was roughly $600. Okay, and I have no problem with any of it. We do need to check around. We do need to see what other cities are getting. But if what he tells us is true, and they're offering us $900 a month, that's $300 per month than any other city's getting. And that would be $10,800 a year. If we say no, do y'all want to tell our citizens we gave up a free $11,000 that could use for something? Because I don't.
Ms. Barnett, she was next. I know you're on deck. I'm coming to you.
So I will respectfully rebut your 10,800 because by the time we pay the $425 a month that they're asking to provide internet services, now that 10,800 has become $5,700.
Whoa, Ms. Barnett's go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. I'm not sure, and I'm in total agreement with the city attorney. I think that that's who needs to take care of this, but since we don't have one, I asked someone, okay, I'm not going to sign a contract that I think is pretty ludicrous. Number one. Number two, the preceding contract clearly spells out one and has one in parentheses. Now, I don't know what was said in the meeting. I wasn't there, but I'm pretty sure if that was signed, that's what's binding. And that's what's binding. And if they only have one in their contract and they've gone and put up now 13, I don't know. It looks like they're just kind of taking advantage of a small town.
Mr. Jones?
Well, they've had 5 years to catch their mistake and try to remedy it in 5 years' time. And nothing's been done until we bring it up 5 years later. So it says what it says. You know, I have to take it at that. If we take it to court, I think it'll be discussed with that, those things will be brought in there and handled that way. But if we sign this contract, we have no remedies with respect to doing it. So I still, contract's a contract. If they reviewed it, their attorney reviewed it, our attorney reviewed it, the council reviewed it, and they all signed it. So why is it not the way it was signed?
Ms. O'Neill?
Okay, we're talking about, I know this is on this contract and all. Okay, we are still looking for lawyers, right? We're still looking for a lawyer.
Yes.
Okay, well, I've been told there is one here in Quanah, Miss Bethany Stevens. So, right back there. If she might consider it, or we can ask and talk with her later, but
Hey, we're gonna have to do it later, but we,
because it's not on the agenda, I understand. But she's one that's been brought up, and I was just wanting to see if anybody would want to consider talk. I don't know who y'all are saying can and can't talk to attorneys, because one person says we can, one person says I can't. So who can talk to the attorney? Is it you and him, or is it the city council?
me and,
You and Mr. Wilson?
I believe that Mr. Wilson found the ruling where it belongs to the city council. So I think we would do it as a council, absolutely.
So what is the problem with us talking to them?
I don't believe I've made any comment about it.
It was made about us talking to an attorney.
I believe the comment was, somebody had said that they were interviewing an attorney, and I was asked if I knew about an interview, and the answer would have been no. I didn't know that there was an interview. As far as talking to attorneys, I don't
So,
have.
I mean, the interview or talking is the same thing. I mean, we're just trying to talk to some,
I got you, but when I was asked the
I called for the
question.
question.
Hold on just a minute. When I was asked for, the question was asked,
so what is our problem?
there's no call for that. I'm trying to conduct a meeting, and I say, just hold on 1 second.
When someone calls for the question, you have to go to the vote.
Still talking.
Okay, that's just how it works, but okay. It's okay.
So she doesn't get the answer to the question she wanted?
It's okay.
No, I'm asking. Does she not get the answer to the question? Because,
When the question is called, you have to go directly to the vote.
so anytime we're having a discussion, one person raises their hand, say the question is called, we end all discussion. Okay, question's called. So can I get so the motion is, the question's been called, now we are going to take a vote. Correct?
On the Centrio.
I don't believe so. I believe, according to
It's on the Centrio contract, isn't it?
yeah.
We brought that back from the table.
And I believe that, according to what she's saying, when she says the question's called, there's no more discussion, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so at this time, we're going to take a vote on the Centrio contract. All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
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 We're going to take another vote. Hey, look, I'm calling for the vote up here. I'm trying to work with you guys. And I mean, y'all talking all, I couldn't hear what she said. She's asking questions. We're trying to get answers for. Just bear with me. We'll get through it here. So we're going to recount the vote. All in favor of signing the Centrio contract, say aye. Opposed?
Over.
Opposed, took it.
Should do short one.
All right, at this time, can I get a motion to consider, approve the appointment of Lisa Barnett to the EDC board? The motion was made. Can I get a second? Second. Okay, we're gonna open it up for discussion.
Second.
Mr. Jones? Okay, at this time, we're gonna open it up for discussion. You asked me to contact a lawyer on this. What was his name? Tad
Reeves?
Reeves with TML. I think you would be good on the board. You were on the board, and the reason that I pulled you off of the board as the city representative was because the first meeting that you and I attended, they asked you 3 questions about your employer, which I felt put the city at risk. So when I asked him, Mr. Tad Reeves, about a conflict of interest with your position and your employer, he said that it was a very high conflict of interest, that the city has a high liability, the EDC has a high liability, and you personally have a higher liability. And he said it would be very hard to determine where you can and can't vote and draw a line. That was his thought.
How does that, I don't understand how that is
When I was sitting
a
in there,
problem.
they asked you if your employer would purchase 2 different buildings, and you said that you would go talk to your employer.
I said
You
that
said,
would
"I
be a
don't speak
question
for
for
him."
him.
No, you said, "I don't speak for him, but I will go talk to him."
That would be a question for him.
Absolutely. So at that point, he and I,
Did not answer for
the
him.
lawyer you asked me to talk to, and my second concern is on this. Last meeting, we all sat here and tried to put 2 more board members on a deal, and all of y'all said that we were gonna open it up to the public. He said it. You said it, Mr. Jones. You said, "I'm gonna," oh, and I said, "So is that gonna be the standard for every board?" To which all of y'all agreed. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, one deal, what is the difference when Shane was serving on EDC and the city council, and he was working
What?
for Mr. Call?
Well, I wasn't the mayor then, and y'all weren't on the city council to agree or disagree if it was
But,
so
I mean,
I'm bringing it forward.
But what is the difference?
Well, the difference is we are a new council and a new mayor, and we're trying to go by what the rules are. And she asked me to ask the guy, I talked to him about it, and that was his answer. That's number one. And number two, y'all all said in a meeting last month, less than 30 days ago, and said that we're gonna open up all boards, every boards, to the public. That's what he said. And I said, so is that the standard going forward? And y'all all said yes.
But
And
it was,
also said you would feel more comfortable if there was more than one person on, or more than 2 people on the thing. You'd like to have at least 3.
okay, but that has to be on the agenda, like everything else,
What's that?
to make a decision like that, to make a vote, or to say, we have to change that rule. It has to be
Well,
put on the
it was
agenda.
okay last month.
It has to be on the agenda, just like everything else.
I understand. But what I'm saying is last month it was okay. Y'all asked me to contact the lawyer. I contacted the lawyer. That's what he said. I brought
We
forward.
didn't ask you to contact no lawyer.
She did. I got a text on my phone.
But
Okay, no,
we
I
did.
told you I can't,
Go ahead.
okay. I told you that I sent you and Mr. Wilson a text because there was a different problem then. I can't remember. There's been so many problems with this. That said, I have talked to him about me being on the council and also on EDC. And he said that's not a problem at all, that 3 members of the EDC board can serve on the council or be employed by the city. Okay, so that's what I said. This is his number if you need to ask. Well, then I didn't think that the person that I'm employed by was a problem.
I think he's an asset to the community, as are you.
I
But
would
what I'm
hope
trying to
so.
do- what I'm- I
I would hope
absolutely do.
Yeah.
And like I said, I started off, I said, I think it would be great for the board, but the problem is, I was trying, which is my job, to relieve the city of the liability. He said your liability is high, the EDC's liability is high, and the city's liability is high.
Okay, do you remember when you sat right up here on the stage and you drew that triangle and it said city, chamber, and EDC?
Absolutely.
And you drew a circle and said, we need continuity and cut off these corners.
Absolutely.
Let me be your continuity.
I don't have a problem with it. You asked me to contact the lawyer. I contacted the lawyer. And I gave,
Out here.
I gave what
Let's
he said.
do good for Quanah.
I firmly believe you would do good, Quanah. I don't have anything against you. The problem is, you asked me to contact the guy. I pulled you off because I pulled you off as the city representative because I had that authority, and I deemed that it was a conflict of interest. Go ahead, Mr. Jackson.
Where did her nomination come from? Did the EDC board nominate her? Isn't this just a formality that that's who they want to be on their board?
I believe it says in their bylaws that we seat the board.
But is that not where that it came from the EDC board?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But here's my thing. We're sitting up here saying we're going to make a vote on one person when last week we wanted more than two. Okay? Last week or last month, we said we were going to open it up for everybody. Okay? I mean, yeah, probably should have been on the agenda. Yeah, it probably should have been this, but I got the same right to discuss things that you do. You brought it.
No, actually. you
Yeah,
can't.
actually, I do.
Does he? Mr. Wilson?
The problem is that the council passed and discussed things that they didn't put into writing to discuss to have this happen, but take applications public for different boards and things. Nobody ever made a motion.
No. We went back. No. We went back last week and denied the two people on the board to open it up for more people. Did we or did we not? Did we or did we not? That's simple. Yes.
There wasn't a
Yes,
vote.
didn't we?
No vote.
No vote on what? You said we were going back for more, to open it up for more people.
But that doesn't have anything to do with the motion at that time was on the floor. The question was to appoint two people for them. And they said, okay, we feel like we should open it up to the public and have people say they would like to. So actually, the motion that was made, there never was a motion made to hire or to appoint somebody that we want to somebody else maybe. Then that's where that's the end of it. Moved on to another time. There were vote taken to take applications from the city.
So we're saying that in last month's meeting, we did not say that we want more than two applicants on the thing that would be more comfortable. Is that what you're saying? Is that what it? And what I'm saying is the same standard should apply across the board.
You do have an applicant here. Another applicant.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. There is, Lisa, I got something to say. How long has they've been trying to get her on this board? It's been 2 months before we ever even decided this.
What do you mean?
It's been 2 months that she has been trying to get her on this board.
And what I said I stood up at the meeting, said I didn't see the email in time to get it on there, and at 5:30.
And then you forgot the meeting before.
No, ma'am. No.
It's been twice and we've tried
This
to.
would have been the second, right? Second meeting?
Technically, the first one, there was a miscommunication with me, like a month before I put something on the agenda, and I sent it to one email. Next month, I tried to put this on the agenda, I just sent it to that same email without verifying. So, but the last one was verified.
The last month was the first email that I got, correct? Okay.
Questions.
So, look,
Hold on.
go ahead.
So the issue, we seem to have a lot of those, is the EDC needs somebody else on their board. In simplified terms, Glenn was asked, Mr. Mayor was asked to check with the TML attorney as to legality issues with who was appointed. We need to, if we want to stay within the guidelines and avoid any possibility of a liability that is going to affect the city of Quanah negatively, that is going to negatively potentially affect Councilperson Barnett, I think we ought to follow the guidelines by the TML attorney. We have to err on the side of caution because Quanah cannot afford to get themselves into a legal bind. The councilperson positions, when they came up, were done on an application process. People were asked to express their interest, provide their potential qualifications. And if we want to continue in the same kind of spirit, I think we need to stay with that and give other members of our community an opportunity to put their 2 cents worth in. We are 6 people sitting up here making decisions that are going to impact 2,000 people. And we have to be very careful that those decisions don't negatively impact those 2,000 people. And that is my 2 cents.
Okay. Nothing I've said was a personal attack against you. I have a job, and I try to do it to the best of my ability, but you've seen tonight that I have royally screwed up on more than one occasion. Humiliates me. Part of my job is to ensure that the city is not liable. When I asked the guy what I deemed was a liability issue, he said it was a high conflict of interest. That was his, okay? Then I brought to light the fact that at the last meeting, we had changed the rules, that we were gonna do it a different direction. That's all. That's all. That's all. It was a talk. It's not saying. So I have a job to do. Y'all hold my feet to the fire, but then when I try to ask questions, I get turned again. So I'm trying to do my job the best I can. You have the floor, Ms. Quanah.
Okay, just to be clear, we did not change the rules at the last meeting. We did not vote on that at all. It might have been said in some of these little side conversations or whatever, but we did not vote on that. Am I correct?
Did you
Am I,
make a
or am I
comment?
insane?
All right, am I correct in saying you made the comment, I would feel better if there were more than 2 on here?
No, I said, what about having a woman?
No, first it was, I would feel better if there were more than 2 on here,
That's exactly what I said.
okay? I still have a job to do, and I still hope the
And
things can work out here, but
glad for your job, but we did not vote on that. To be clear, we did not. And you do have another applicant.
for,
The Quanah Economic Development Corporation Board?
it's not in the book. It says.
Yes, sir, it is.
Consider.
It is 6C.
It says, consider and approve appointment of Lisa Barnett.
It's on 6C.
It still only says, consider and approve Lisa Barnett.
I'm looking at what's in your book.
There is no item 16.
Am I crazy or does that say 6C right there and there's an applicant right here? It's in my book.
Does it say, anywhere does it have an applicant other than you?
John Ferris has one.
It's under 6C, all right, but it's not included in the motion. Not included in the agenda item. The agenda item only calls for a vote on you. Technically, this 6C has nothing to do with this item.
Well, there's another applicant.
There is another applicant, but it has nothing to do with this motion.
So at this time, we're going to call for a vote. All in favor of adding the appointment of Lisa Barnett to the EDC board, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Can I get a show of hands for the ayes? It's 3-2. 3.
I abstain.
She can't vote.
She can't vote.
I abstain.
So it's not 3-3, that's what I'm saying, 3-2.
I understand that, but you have to stand by it. I get it to sit here.
So at this time, we're not adding Lisa Barnett to the EDC.
She abstained from the vote or failed to vote.
Bill, what did you vote?
I voted.
Because of what?
I voted. If a council member abstains or fails to vote, it's counted as an affirmative.
It's still 3-2.
3-3. 3-3.
If she abstains to vote,
If she abstains, that's a yay. That's a yay. It's a yay.
so she can vote, put herself on the.
No, she abstained. That's abstaining.
Roger that. So it's still 3-2.
You have to call it's tied.
Okay, at this time, I'm saying no.
There you go.
There you go. Now, move on.
All right, we're gonna move on to item number D. Consider approving change to the bylaws, state term limitations that apply to the East Board. The new wording will be: the respective terms of the additional directors shall be determined by the city council. Therefore, each successive member of the EDC board shall be appointed and serve for 2 years or until a successor is appointed and hereinafter provided. Term limits shall be set at 2 years. Each member of the EDC board can serve a limited term for approval from the board, each term renewed. So can I get just make sure that's old business, just one. That is under old business. And it should not be. Can I get a point of order? That is new business, correct?
It would be new business, yes.
Okay, under new business, we're gonna do the same, consider approve change to the bylaws that state term limitations that apply to the EDC board. The new wording will be: the respective terms of the initial directors shall be determined by the council. Thereafter, each successive member of the EDC board shall be appointed and serve for 2 years or until a successor is appointed and hereinafter provided. Term limits shall be set at 2 years. Each member of the EDC board a limited term, approval from the board at each term renewal. Can I get a motion to accept that? A motion was made by Ms. Brownell. Can I get a second? Do I have a second? At this time, we're gonna let it die. Died. Okay, we'll move on to E. Consider approve allowing the administrator's discretion in spending all remaining COVID money prior to the deadline in accordance with the guidelines. Can I get a motion?
I'm making a motion to approve the administrative discretion in spending all remaining COVID money prior to the deadline.
Can I get a second? Motion was made and seconded. Any discussion?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Brownell. Okay, if we don't spend this money, it's gone. We lose $78,000. That's what we're voting on, is giving the administrator the discretion to spend $78,000 or it gets thrown in the trash. Correct? Correct? So at this time, I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor of allowing the administrator to spend the COVID money in accordance with directives, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 8, consider and approve appointments, 2 positions to the Planning and Zoning Board.
Why did we not do 7?
That's gonna be a while. We can go ahead and do that if you want to do that right now. But I've done called number 8. We'll go back to number 7. Consider and approve appointment, 2 positions to the Planning and Zoning Board. Can I get a motion to put it on the table? Motion was made by Mr. Brownlow. Second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Jackson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we're gonna go back to number 7. Consider and approve hiring a 3rd fireman to relieve the burden of the current 2. That was brought to me by the firemen, and at this time, I'm gonna let their representative speak, which I believe is Kate Reisinger. Is that you speaking? Oh,
You just brought that back to the floor. We're not gonna finish it?
it's not.
We're not gonna finish number 8? You brought it back to the floor.
We took a vote.
You took a vote to appoint 2. We gotta work on the motion, Nick.
Here's the people that,
Yeah, I guess we do. I apologize. Sorry. So at this time, we'll, on a point of order, how are we gonna select the 2 out of the candidates that we have?
We did.
Two for last time, Steve Matthew and.
Yeah.
no high school principal.
I think there's a total of 6 or 7 that actually show interest in it. And it would be if you start with a vacant board, which probably would not be the best thing to do. You would have 6 or 7 applicants or 5 people. And then you know, say the next time you can take those 7 or 8, whatever it is, whoever else in there puts in an application and take 5. So, you know,
I think that's on the phone. I'm having a hard time. What did you say? You want to do 5?
What I'm doing is put it back on the table and starting with a equipment board. We've got 69 applications, 5 positions.
That's not the agenda item.
I don't think we can do.
That's what I'm saying. We put it back on the table, so the actual action will have to take place at the next meeting.
I'm nominate Sam Dovey and Steve Matney for the planning and zoning.
Sam Doby and Steve Matney. Okay, at this time, we have a nomination of Sam Doby and Steve Matney. Is there any more discussion? All in favor of Sam Doby, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor of Steve Matney, say aye. I believe everybody voted yes, but did you raise your hand, Mr. Jones? Mr. Jones? Okay, so abstaining is a yes. The ayes have it. So Sam Doby and Steve Matney. Sam Doby and Steve Matney.
One question I could.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Rick Riley, so he was interested in this. Is he allowed to do it since he is a member of the city? So when it comes back up in the end of December, we know or not?
We would have to look at their bylaws, and I don't, do you see a problem with it, Mr. Wilson? I mean, it's an off-duty organization, I mean,
what was the I didn't hear, I couldn't hear what you said.
Rick Riley works for your city.
He's a
He
city.
pays from the city. So can he be on this board?
According to the way the thing reads, you cannot have 2 paid positions. So P and Z is not a paid position. And there would not be a direct conflict of interest in that respect.
so the answer would be yes, correct?
Right.
All right,
It'd be the same way if
under new business, still, consider and approve hiring a third fireman to relieve the burden of the current 2. Mr. Rice,
How are y'all? I'm Cade Rossinger. I'm Cade Rossinger. I'm the captain of the Quanah Fire Department, and I come to ask you, the council, tonight to please lift the hiring freeze that y'all placed on the fire department. Since June 30th, since Nathan Barker retired from the fire department, it's been run by Anthony Walker and myself with the help of a few part-time guys working as they could from their full-time job. The department has a wide range of responsibilities, from house fires to grass fires to running the jaws of life at wrecks. We respond to dumpster fires, do the code red, landing zones at the hospital, gas leaks, CO2 checks, EMS assistance, and after hours, we do the water and the sewer dispatch for the city of Quanah. We also work with John White when there's severe weather and setting off the storm sirens. Our role at the fire department puts us also working closely with the volunteer firefighters. We check the trucks off every day to ensure they're able to respond and contact their chief, Casey O'Neill, if there's a problem. We also dispatch the volunteers and assist with mutual aid, road graders, dozers, the Forest Service when they ask me to contact these resources. As of now, Anthony and I are working 48 on, 48 off, without the ability to take vacation or use our sick time. We work between 168 and 192 hours every 2 weeks. Most people turn in 80 hours. We're doing all this without being paid any overtime. We're tired. The schedule that we've worked for the last 5.5 months is not sustainable, nor is it fair. I ask you again to please grant us our third fireman so we can continue to provide the best fire protection to the citizens of Quanah and Hardman County. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Gabe. So at this time, we're going to ask that we consider or approve hiring a third fireman. And can I get a motion to be made? Sir?
Can we make any discussion?
We'll do that after the motions. So can I get a motion to be made? Motion was made. Can I get a second? Motion was made by Mr. Jackson and seconded by Ms. Brownlow. Okay, at this time,
Shane motion to made. And then Brown.
okay. At this time, we're going to open it up for discussion. So, anybody want, did I see Ms. O'Neill want to start? Or did you, I thought you raised your hand, sorry. Okay, at this time, it's open for discussion.
So this summer, for those who probably come to the meetings, we discussed our budget. Then we had a budget workshop. And in this, we passed a balanced budget that approved fully funding the fire department because we have the money. We have a balanced budget. We have had a balanced budget every year, and we have had a fully funded fire department every year because of that. I have been put over the fire department by the mayor. Not one time has anybody talked to me about there being a hiring freeze. I have been completely avoided. Nobody's talked to me. Nobody's told me anything until I spoke with the firemen about their issues. That is very concerning when I am over the fire department. I don't, it just concerns me when we're forcing our firemen to work this much and, you know, we want them to protect our homes. Everybody knows somebody in town whose life has been affected by a fire. I mean, we've had, in the past couple of months, we've had 2 homes burned completely down. And they were there. As a council member, I'm extremely concerned, and I would like to know what's going on that's not being expressed to every time.
On the streets.
I'd like to add to Shane's comment. I did not know there was a hiring freeze.
Ms. Barnett?
I'm in the same boat. I don't know anything about a hiring freeze. When did who put on who instituted a hiring freeze and where did it come from? Because I don't know anything about it.
Mr. Wilson?
Anybody else?
As far as I know, there was no hiring freeze for state step.
Mr. Jackson?
I'm concerned where Mr. Lance said that we have a balanced budget, and they had a balanced budget last year. And if you remember quite well, Mr. Mayor, that you had a town hall meeting right here, and on the board, you put a number on the board of $2,009, and that was what was in the bank. So the balanced budget means nothing, because we had to go and get $100,000 out of the bank to be able to pay our bills that were 6 and 8 months behind and weren't paid. So I don't know how we're going to pay a third fireman.
Okay. Any more discussion?
We are already paying basically the exact same amount to the 2 we have because they are working the same hours. They're not getting overtime.
Ms. Barnett?
I have a question. What about the guy that fills in? Is he considered, I guess he's part-time or?
I'd have to refer that to Mr. Rouse.
How does that,
He's part-time. How many hours does he work for y'all? Okay.
It varies. At this time, as many hours that we're working, I tell them they can have all the hours they want so we can get a day off. Uh, but most of the time, about 24 hours pay period, sometimes none.
Okay. Ms. Brownell?
Mr. Reisinger, can you tell me who told you there was a hiring freeze?
Mr. Wilson.
Okay, so we get this third fireman. How do you propose to split up the hours? You just gonna do 24-hour shifts? One of you work 24 while the other two have off?
Yes, ma'am. The way it's always, that's the way it's always been. You work 24 hours on and then you're off 48. And right now we're working 48 on and 48 off.
You want sleep or what?
I'd like to have a little bit.
Okay.
Any more discussion?
I'd like to know if Mr. Wilson has it planned.
Mr. Wilson?
We're gonna have to, money shall put the paper.
Well, I guess I'm confused then if my math ain't mathing. If we're paying 2 for 3 slots, how are we losing? How are we not?
We're not gonna be out any more money because what we're doing is we're gonna be paying Mr. Reisinger to work 48 hours. We'll pay the second one to work 48 hours. If we have 3 firemen, we are just splitting that money up between 3 people instead of 2. So it's not gonna cost any more money. It's just gonna give these guys a couple of days off.
Ms. Brownlow, if I may, that's in a nutshell very correct. We work 24 hours on and 48 off. There's 360 hours in a pay period. And each fireman, if we have 3, works 120 hours in the pay period. That's how it works. That's how we're coming up with the 168 and the 192 is because when you're working 48 on and 48 off, one of you works 2 more shifts than the other guy. So yes, you're correct. It's not going to cost any more money because we're already working those amount of hours right now.
And at the end of the day, it's gonna be a lot safer for the city of Quanah, and it's gonna be safer for our fire departments as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Jackson?
Would the fire department be opposed? Would you guys be opposed to working an 8-hour day like the ambulance service does? And being on call and let the dispatch the volunteer?
We wouldn't get our amount of time in at that point.
Well, I've got a list here of all the towns around us, and there are no towns with 2,200 people that have a paid fire department other than Quanah. There are towns that have 2,900 people that have 0 paid firemen. There are towns that have 2,700 people that have 0 paid firemen. So if we had 2 paid firemen that worked 40 hours a week, would you be opposed to that?
We don't get to pick when the fires hit and when they don't hit, and that's why we're.
Get picked whenever they have an emergency call.
No, but another consideration I think that we're gonna have to keep in mind too is the firemen, their retirement is predicated on the hours that they work, and if they don't get their hours in, they're not going to be building any retirement. Those of us that have regular jobs, our retirement's built into our pay package. And if we cut them to 8-hour days, then we're going to be cutting out their ability to build up that retirement. And nobody wants to work for the rest of their lives.
Mr. Jackson?
I am absolutely not opposed to having 6 firemen if we could pay for them. I'm worried that we're going to get in the same shape that we were in a few months ago when we were scrambling, begging, borrowing, trying to steal to pay our bills and keep the lights on at the city barn. In fact, the lights were turned off at the city barn. And we have either got to decrease expenses or increase income, or we're going to be in a heck of a shape. It's not going to fix itself until we decide that we're going to fix it somehow, some way.
Yes.
The money is not going to fall out of the trees, and irregardless of what a councilman says, it is not monopoly money.
Any more discussion? Mr. Jones?
Well, I find that there's one town that Page has a paid fire department, and that's us. How are all those other towns addressing the concerns that our cities have? How do they deal with fires, and why have they determined, that they don't need to pay fire?
I can't answer that for you, but, I mean, I think we're just, right now, all we're trying to do is relieve the burden on them and not cost anyone any more money. I mean, so the vote.
So you're saying that's another, for another day? Okay, I'll go on with that.
I hate to keep kicking the ball down.
Right,
The-
okay.
The vote, or what we're gonna have to vote on is, can he hire a third fireman at the same amount of money, basically, right? So the vote that we're gonna be voting on is, can we hire a third fireman at the same amount of money across the board and no more on this? Go ahead.
What are the benefits, how does that entail in this,
Benefits
as in their retirement and their insurance and everything else? Is that going to be factored in?
Mr. Wilson? Oh, yeah, I mean, definitely have to have insurance and retirement.
So we'll
At
actually be
at
paying
this
more.
time,
Correct.
Ms. Barnett, at this time, though, the only extra cost you would have would be the insurance, because as far as the retirement taxes and things like that go, you're already paying that salary to the two guys that are putting in those hours. So that would just be split between three instead of two.
Okay? So at this time, we're gonna go ahead, Mr. Jones, Jackson, I apologize.
I would love to be able to say, let's hire them. I think it would be great. But I just worry what we're gonna do in June and July when there's no more tax revenue. And we don't have that other 100,000 that we had this year to go get the money out of the bank for it. So are we gonna be prepared? How are we gonna pay these guys? How are we gonna be prepared to pay these guys? I want everybody to be prepared for what's down the pipe that we have not addressed. And we're not gonna have the money to pay them and to pay everybody else in the city. We need to be prepared.
So, I'm sorry. So
Ms. O'Neill.
how come, why are we so opposed to doing like the other ones? These other towns, small towns, where we have no paid fire, they have no paid fire.
Well, that's a council thing. We have to vote on that. That's up to the council when it's never been brought before it. Right now, we're just voting on adding the third one to relieve the burden. Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
Well, I agree. I think what's on the table is that we add a third fireman or not that we get rid of our fire department. That's a separate issue at all. So I think we should just vote on this fact right here. And he said it's not going to cost us any more than it does right now.
We've determined that it will cost us the retirement
Insurance.
and insurance,
Yeah, but
just to be fair.
that is correct.
So at this time, we're going to call for a vote. At this time, we're going to call for a vote. All in favor of allowing the fire department, Mr. Wilson, to hire a third fireman, say aye. You should know. Four yeses, opposed? One no. Mr. Jackson, you abstain, or did you say no?
Abstain.
Okay. 5 yeses and 1 no.
Thank you.
At this time, we're going to move up to the update from the engineer on the chlorinator project. We're going to have to table that one. We didn't get, the guy didn't get back with you, correct, Mr. Wilson?
We don't have, right, we got the form, but not got information from them on how it has to be.
Hey, before y'all leave, will y'all give me 1 second before you leave? I want to apologize to every citizen out here I made a mistake on the defunding, the way it was worded. If I wasted your time, if I wasted whatever, to the council, my apologies. It wasn't intentional. I learned a valuable lesson that communication is key. I'm still trying to figure out how we communicate without breaking the quorum, walking quorum. So I apologize to the public for any misconfusion or anything that I put off on you as a bad idea. And at this time, Mr. Wilson, we'll move to your report.
Well, part of it's already done. We won't be taking village funds to purchase a tractor from the city. We've got paperwork from the engineers to send. We can't just pick an engineering firm. We have to advertise for an engineering firm to do the engineering on the water system, the chlorinators and anything else that's done on the water system. We have to advertise for that. And it's not necessarily based on the low bid. It's based on whoever has the experience and the most qualified to do the work that we need them to do. And that's where that's at. And we've got, like I said, we've got this paperwork from them, but we've got to get it to the paper and the places where we can, through PML, where we can get the list of where we have to send it in order to get these. But they're aware of what our problem is, and if they do float to the top and we do pick them, they're on go right now. So we've talked to two different ones now, but we still have to go through this process that they require.
Okay. Anything else?
Thank you.
Can I get a point of order? The way I understand it, we do not have to close this in City Hall. Is that correct? So TML, we can open it, move it.
What about your update on CI funds and stuff?
Oh.
You done skipped all that.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to table the engineer, and we didn't get the update in time from Lila. She didn't get that to me on the CI fund, so we're gonna put that out. We'll put it out on the, webpage with the amount.
Tell you what it is, but
So at this time, the point of order believes we do not have to close this meeting in the City Hall, correct?
correct.
All right, this time we'll be closing, tonight's meeting.
I know that, the one there, I'm not gonna do that.